Good night, my UNC family. My job is a simple one tonight. I am here to tell you exactly what we want you to do on June 26th. Why you have to do what we want you to do. Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisesa, political leader. Okay, the political leader is here. Would you all stand up as we welcome her?
Kamala! 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 Kamala!
Better days are
Kamala! Kamala! Kamala!
pass you by and remain.
Kamala!
Better days are
Kamala! Kamala! Kamala!
pass you by and remain.
Kamala!
There's no panorama. Play my Cindy Savannah. Just be patient, hold the strength. Enjoy life and don't complain. Every day, and just be angry. Better days are coming. Change your ways. This moment pass you by and remain. Better days are coming. Change your ways. This moment pass you by and remain. Don't have no time for no drama. Misperforming on stage, I'm singing the soca. Yeah, that is life, I can't complain. When things nice, it's felt like rain. This feeling I can't explain. I promise you right now, better days are coming. Change your ways. Don't let this moment pass you by and remain the same. Hey, Patrice again, yeah. And again and again. I want you doing what you're doing. I hope you don't waste time. I want you doing what you're doing. I'm not taking time right now, but better days are coming. Change your ways. Don't let this moment pass you by and remain the same. Better days are coming. Change your ways. Don't let this moment pass you by and remain the same. Hey, what we gonna do now? There's no panorama. Hey, we can jump up and play my Cindy Savannah. Hey, just be patient, hold the strength. Enjoy life and don't complain. You got to pray like every day, and things will be irate. Better days are coming. Change your ways. Don't let this moment pass you by and remain the same. Better days are coming. Change your ways. Don't let this moment pass you by and remain the same. I don't have no time for no drama. Misperforming on stage, I'm singing the soca. Yeah, that is life, I can't complain. When things nice, it's felt like rain. This feeling I can't explain. I promise you right now, better days are coming. Change your ways. Don't let this moment pass you by and remain the same. Better days are coming. Change your ways. Don't let this moment pass you by and remain the same. I always say, Patrice again. Hey, things will get better. Wouldn't last forever. No, things will get better. It go last. Meantime, no better days are coming. Change your ways. Don't let this moment pass you by and remain the same. Better days are coming. Change your ways. Don't let this moment pass you by and remain the same. Enjoy life and don't complain. You got to pray like every day, and things will be irate. Hey, Better days are coming, coming. Change your ways.
Let's give another round of applause to our political leader. As I continue, ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisesa, political leader of the United National Congress, opposition leader and former Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, other distinguished officers of the party at the head table, candidates of the STAR team, constituency executive officers, councillors, aldermen, activists, foot soldiers and members of our great party, a very good evening and a special greetings to supporters and well-wishers of the UNC who are viewing and listening to our broadcast in Trinidad and Tobago and at various places around the world. It is a tremendous honor and privilege to address you, to bring greetings from the people of Mayaro and to endorse the STAR team of candidates for the UNC election on June 26th. I heartily support the candidates for the National Executive headed by the eminent incumbent political leader, Ms. Kamala Prasad Bisesa. It is important to understand the current state of Trinidad and Tobago under a government that is clueless, oppressive, and uncaring. As we meet in this hall this evening, there are about 150,000 workers on the breadline. They have lost their jobs as a result of the shutdown of Petrotrin, companies in Point Lisas and energy services companies, not to mention the 6,000 small businesses that went out of business due to COVID-19 and the government's mishandling. That is why thousands of people are suffering and went in search of jobs on a cruise ship last week. This failed government has made no effort to create jobs. In contrast, Mrs. Prasad Bisesa led a government that added 57,000 new jobs to the economy. I want everyone to consider this on this Labor Day weekend. Those are workers who would have afforded to buy baby milk, send their children to school, pay their mortgages, and maybe change their vehicle and afford a little family vacation. Mrs. Prasad Bisesa did it once and she will do it again. In addition, brothers and sisters, have you noticed the amount and the number of companies that are fleeing Trinidad and Tobago? At a time when steel prices are at a world record high, this inept PNM regime allowed multinational ArcelorMittal to leave our country. Now, if you want to do a little construction in your home or your business, you have to pay prices that are double that what existed when Mrs. Prasad Bisesa was our Prime Minister. Brothers and sisters, several companies have left our country over the past 7 years. In each case, sending home hundreds of workers. After half a century, Unilever may just pack up and head out very, very soon. WePay, which is a company owned by a Trinidadian, has gone to Jamaica. Under Rowley, Trinidad and Tobago is shooing away investors. The World Bank says our investment climate is worse than Haiti, which is the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. That means it is difficult to do business under this Rowley government. But when Ms. Prasad Bisesa ran this country, we were getting investors to the value of $1.5 billion each year, and that is a fact. That was more money entering the system, which meant more dollars circulating in businesses and everyone enjoying a better standard of life. Brothers and sisters, food inflation is a national crisis. Well, the international experts are telling us that it is going to get worse. The worst is yet to come. And yet, knowing that, brothers and sisters, this dense and lazy government has made no effort to boost food production, to provide incentive for farmers to grow more tomatoes, bhaji and baigan. Every other government in the Caribbean is trying to protect its citizens from having to dig deeper in their pockets to feed themselves. They are working hard to avoid starvation. Just next door, Mia Motley in Barbados and Dr. Ifran Ali in Guyana have come up with a strategy to grow more food in order to ease the burden of inflation. You would recall, under Ms. Prasad Bisesa, her leadership, Trinidad and Tobago boosted the agricultural sector and assist those in the agro-processing industries. Farm roads were repaired and a lot of incentives were given for farmers so that they could produce food to feed us. But Rowley is cold and unconcerned about whether people could afford to eat properly and to nourish their families. Have you seen the number of people who are begging on the roadsides for $1 to buy food for their children? Sometimes the children themselves are running up to you at the traffic lights begging for assistance. They are not looking for tax breaks or customs exemptions for multi-million-dollar vehicles like Rowley's ministers. Brothers and sisters, Mrs. Prasad Bisesa showed understanding, compassion, sympathy for the small man. She reduced VAT on essential foods. She gave milk money to single mothers. She made NFM cut prices on special occasions. She distributed hampers and grants to all who needed them. She was a face of compassion, unlike Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley. Trinidad and Tobago badly needs a leader who cares, someone who will fix our horrible roads, reduce the waiting periods at public hospitals, resume building preschools, and put money into the Children's Life Fund, and in many other ways which Ms. Prasad Bisesa has helped the common man. We need a leader who would create an enabling environment so that big business corporations would invest in our country once again, create jobs and enlighten the downstream industry. This country needs a prime minister who cares about the welfare of the people. You have heard that our country is now the 6th most violent country in the world. What you may not know is that Trinidad and Tobago is now the most dangerous small state on the planet. There is no other country with under 5 million people with so many murders, home invasions, criminal assaults and other body crimes. And this government behaves as though we are living in paradise, according to Stuart Young. The disastrous Minister of National Security remains in office. The Police Service Commission has been sidelined, and we do not have a full-time Commissioner of Police. Ladies and gentlemen, this wretched PNM regime simply does not care about whether people live or die. Dreadful crimes are taking place in broad daylight and in the full view of the country. Ladies and gentlemen, not a gangster in this country fears about being caught, prosecuted and jailed. That is the life of misery under Keith Christopher Rowley. But do not ever forget, we had a competent government under a strong and capable leader as Kamala Prasad Bisesa. She, Honorable MP, and her team can return our country to one of relative peace, economic growth, and to give all of you, all of us, a better quality of life. However, to do that, she requires the full support of the UNC family at the party's election. She has put together an equally skilled and qualified slate, and you should support each one of them in the respective positions that they are seeking. Brothers and sisters, Trinidad and Tobago is in a most appalling and terrible state. We simply cannot go on this way. Our people are dying at the hands of criminals, and they are struggling as a result of unemployment. This is no way to build a young nation. We need inspired leadership, a prime minister who communicates in a civil manner, and a team of officials and talent that is ready and willing to serve. Ms. Prasad Bisesa. Mrs. Prasad Bisesa Sissa and her team offer those virtues, and the UNC are ready and prepared to return to national office. So let's begin the march to make Trinidad and Tobago fulfill this bountiful promise. And as I close, let me hear you say, one party, one leader. Brothers and sisters, I thank you very much.
Internal elections is heating up with star team
UNC,
John,
Lee,
Munilal,
Tanku,
Amin,
Sobers, Mohit,
Hussein,
Sylvester,
Gosai,
Ratuam,
Morris,
Butram,
Badal,
Zaku,
Roberts.
Obika.
17 candidates.
One leader.
Under my leadership, UNC will never, ever abandon you.
Live stream on all platforms June 26. The United National Congress. One team.
One leader.
My colleagues at the head table,